Okay, Chapter 12. We're halfway through the season, unfortunately, already. Does this opening scene look familiar to you? It's literally identical to the scene in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 where Baby Groot is trying to do the wires and Rocket Raccoon's yelling at him. It's like someone in the Disney offices said, hey, people like that scene in Guardians 2, let's just replicate it with Baby Yoda. I mean, it's still a great scene, but it's basically identical to that scene. And I say it every week, but the puppeteering on the child is still continues to be great. Also, why does he have a cubby this small that he can't access without a small child? Oh, that's weird. He lifts his helmet to eat. I don't know why I never actually thought of that before. It never crossed my mind, how does he eat? Because I'm just so used to him seeing with a helmet on. So why did they have to go back to Navarro for repairs? Like, I get clearly the show is trying to get us there again because they want to put Grief Karga and Cara Dune back in the episode, but couldn't he have gone to basically any other planet? For the show's sake, it makes sense to return there for budget reasons and stuff like that because we've been there before, but it just seems a tad bit contrived. My first thought was, oh, it's Ponda Baba, but I mean, he's probably dead by now, but they're definitely aqualishes. It's some weird species. They're the ones that have the baboon butt face. When this guy said the Marshal, I immediately thought it was Cobb Vanth. I thought we'd get more of him because wasn't his episode called The Marshal? I don't know if this was established before. Maybe I missed it or forgot that. Is Cara Dune the marshal of this town now? And this is a cool fight scene and all, and it shows off Gina Carano's like MMA skills, but then she just shoots a guy? Like, why didn't she just start that way? He could have just walked in and shot everyone immediately. Also interesting that Cara has way less lines here, and I think it's because they finally realized she's not a great actress, to be honest. She's a good fighter, so the less lines she has, the better, I suppose. Let her do more physical stuff. I can't tell, is this like a puppet, or is this all CGI, or like a remote control? I can't really tell here. So Din tells Greef and Kara that he had a run-in with the New Republic, and Greef says they should leave the Outer Rim alone. And I guess I totally forgot that we were in the Outer Rim. I hope that we actually get to see what's going on in the core worlds, like what's happening on Coruscant these days. What on earth is that thing in the background on the left? That doesn't look Star Warsy at all. When they walked in and you can hear a female droid voice, I was like, oh god, no, please don't be L3. But then I was like, oh wait, she's the Falcon now. Ugh. Have we seen a classroom before in Star Wars? It's kind of weird but cool to see a protocol droid teaching, because, I mean, it makes perfect sense. I wonder if Anthony Daniels played this one, or if they found someone just as skinny for this. She references the Hydean Way and makes, like, other references to different hyperspace lanes. I get Kara says that the child will be safe here and stuff, but, like, isn't he, like, the most wanted being in the galaxy right now, and you're just gonna leave him here in this random school? Seems really dangerous. If you turn the captions on in the scene, you can see that the droid is going over the regions of the galaxy for the kids. It explains to all the Star Wars normies who watch the show, like, the makeup of the core worlds, the Outer Rim, the Mid-Rim, all the different sections of the galaxy. I do like them fleshing that out, finally, on screen. They also mention how the Republic used to be on Coruscant, and if you turn the captions on here, you can see them explain that a pretty big detail that was explained in the books that came out before Episode 7 came out. There's all this stuff between Episode 6 and 7 that's not explained in Episode 7 that you'd have to read about elsewhere. She's explaining that the capital now moves from planet to planet, which I still don't understand the purpose of, and it's currently on Chandrilla, which is Kylo Ren's birthplace, I believe. Still doesn't make a whole lot of sense, like, why does it move? How often does it move? It also calls into question that scene in Episode 7 when they blow up Hosnian Prime. How did the First Order know that it was currently on Hosnian Prime? Because it's moving constantly. Is there, like, a schedule? Do they know which planet it's on at the time? Like, it's ridiculous. Are those just macaroons? I have no idea what the Akkadi's maelstrom is, but apparently it's near Kessel. None of the kids are going to react to Baby Yoda pulling an Anakin and using the Force to move some food. Like, they've probably never seen a Jedi before. Shouldn't they be freaking out? Oh, this guy again? I guess we're going back to the Season 1 plot threads. What on earth was that? Was it like some kind of squid inking? Oh, they're finally explaining why Greef Karga sent Din Djarin after him in the first episode of the show. He says he still can't see out of his left eye from being in carbonite. I wonder how much advancement has been made on carbonite since Return of the Jedi. It's only been 5 years since then, and it still seems to have adverse effects on people. So remember this part for later in the video where Greef claims that the ship repairs will take a while. The Imperial expansion, eh? Please elaborate. What is that, and when and why did that happen? Whoa, whoa, whoa. She says, and the planet will finally be free. You're a marshal of this little town. How do you know that this is the last base on this entire planet? It's a very A New Hope-esque land speeder. Oh, okay, it's a humidity vest. That's what that weird thing was earlier. Lava flows. You know, this place looks a little bit like Sullust from Star Wars Battlefront 2015. Why would an Imperial base have a control panel that's not rated for lava on a lava planet? The Imperials aren't that incompetent. They're not the First Order. Yeah, they have poorly trained troopers, but they know better than this, right? Did you guys notice the continuity boo-boo? Earlier in this episode, when he first got to Navarro, you could see he didn't have a jetpack on, but now suddenly he's got a jetpack on. I mean, maybe we can assume he went back to the ship off screen to get it, but it seems like a weird thing to omit. Okay, can someone please explain to me where Dank Ferric came from? Is this made up for the show? Is it like a swear word on Navarro? Because Din Djarin's used it probably like 5 to 10 times in the show by now, and we keep hearing it over and over again, and I'm wondering if it's just something he picked up from this planet, because I've never heard it in other Star Wars stuff, like from the EU or anything. What did he do up there? Did he override something? How does throwing a guy down to the ground make it unlock? Is it like proximity locked? Is the trooper just being near the door open it? Shouldn't he have to like scan his face or his hand or something? Seems pretty easy to get around their security for this being a top secret base. The exterior of this base looks a lot like the base from Rogue One, where Jin's dad was working on the secret Death Star stuff. Oh, that looks a lot like the Kenner troop transport from Rebels. They had a vehicle in Rebels that was based on the iconic Kenner troop transport toy from, I think, the 70s or the 80s. I like how he's kind of being meta in universe when he says that the black market will pay a lot for it, which mirrors in real life where that thing's probably worth a fortune. It's super rare, I believe. I like the uniformity between the Empire's ships and their bases. Like, look at the windows. It's identical to the Star Destroyer windows. That's a classic Stormtrooper line. Alright, we'll check it out. Oops, camera guy back there. What is this, Game of Thrones Season 8 in the coffee cups? Is that the first time we've heard the term slicing? Because it's been all over the EU, but I'm not sure if they've ever mentioned it in the movies. This whole base powered by lava thing reminds me of that Clone Wars episode with Tarkin and Anakin. The base looks just like this one. They're finally acknowledging how the Empire doesn't use guardrails anywhere. Why does the Empire put shield generators and like important things in like precarious places like this? Is it to discourage people from going and messing with them? It's just like when Obi-Wan goes to turn off the shield generator in episode 4. What is going on here? Cloning? Oh, I guess they're picking up on the plot threads from earlier last season when they're like, I think they're taking the blood of Baby Yoda for something. They're doing some kind of blood transfusion. Oh no, is this tied to Palpatine and Snoke? I'm really afraid that they're going to try to already tie this into cloning Palpatine. And I don't think they need to start referencing the sequel trilogy this early, because it's still 25 years away in the timeline. I really don't want the show to acknowledge too much of the sequel trilogy or legitimize it. Hopefully this is all we get of that, because somebody pointed out that in this scene when they show the clones in those tanks, you can actually hear the Emperor's theme quietly and even Snoke's theme, and that scares me. Hopefully they go a different route. I'm not sure. It's kind of an allegory to how like the Empire is kind of Star Wars' version of the Nazis, and in real life the Nazis were obsessed with the occult. So it's kind of mirroring that from real life, where the Empire is obsessed with like cloning and weird biological experiments. Oh, Dr. Pershing is back. So they're doing blood transfusions with the child's Force blood? What are they doing? Maybe they're like making Jedi or attempting to make them. Maybe it's not Jedi or Sith they're making. Maybe they're just making Force users in general. Or maybe Force-sensitive troopers. That'd be interesting. I'm pretty sure that's been in the EU. Hey, M count. I guess that's Disney's way of referencing midichlorians without actually having to say midichlorians. I never thought I'd see the day that they'd bring those back. I've never been the type of person that just hates midichlorians with a passion. I think there's a way to use it, and people say that midichlorians like demystify the Force, but the way that George has explained it, I don't think does that. The Force is still like this mysterious thing, but all that the midichlorians are just something in your blood that allows you to communicate with them. So I don't really mind them referencing them, but saying M count is kind of a get out of jail free card for Disney. Why did Din Djarin assume that Moff Gideon was dead? Like, yeah, his ship crashed, but this is Star Wars. People survive worse stuff all the time. Like, obviously he didn't know about Palpatine and all these other, and Darth Maul and all these people that survive these crazy things, but like, this is Star Wars. Don't assume anyone's dead until you see a body. And even then, double check. So they all shoot their way out, and I don't know if that guy is a stunt guy right there, but he does, or maybe CGI, but he does some amazing ragdoll. More of those folded wing TIE fighters. Like, I don't know what the purpose of that is. We've seen those earlier in the first season. I'm not sure why they do that. Maybe it's to keep like a low profile, so like people flying over the base won't see them. I'm not sure. Or just for efficient storage. It somehow took me until this scene to notice that she has a rebellion tattoo on her face. This whole time I thought it was a mole. They never really showed a close enough shot to where I could see that. This is very reminiscent of that alien scene where they're all in that armored car, like running over aliens. Now, I'm no physics expert, but they'd be dead, right? Oh man, I love me some scout troopers. And dude, they can fall that far? That's crazy. I wonder if they have some kind of like thrusters that makes it to where they don't just smash into the ground. I love this whole sequence. I think this is the first time since Return of the Jedi that we got to see a bunch of biker scouts in a chase scene with them. I've always loved them. I got like a model of one of them that I built years ago. The fact that these things are so efficient makes the scene in Episode 9 make even less sense. The whole like wheel bike speeders in that movie like don't make any sense to me if they have speeders like this that can just hover. It was probably just to sell a new toy. Wait, he can shoot right through the windows? Like, why is there no transparent shields in there? This is very reminiscent of Indiana Jones and Last Crusade, when there's that tank scene when they're chasing him in the tank and they're just smashing people with the tank against the side of the canyon wall. Star Wars loves to reference Indiana Jones, especially in the Clone Wars. Oh, this guy is crazy. This guy's like that dude from Saving Private Ryan that tries to throw the bomb inside the tank. Oof, that's dark. Just his helmet bouncing away after he gets blown up. I think this is the first live-action depiction of TIE fighters chasing down a moving ground vehicle like this. Yeah, see, we got more of those folding ties. They're pretty cool. It's just weird that we've never seen them before. Okay, this is what I was talking about earlier when I said remember this moment, when Greef says that the repairs will take a while. Really? Somehow the repairs are done already? Like, what has it been, a few hours? He said it's going to be a while. This is like the biggest Deus Ex Machina of all time right here. It's a cool sequence, but he just flies in and saves them at the perfect moment. This is just fun for Baby Yoda. It's like a roller coaster. I can't tell for sure, but that looks like a model shot. Like they did the old-fashioned style of using motion control cameras and models on a stand and filming them. It's a good way to save on the budget for CGI. Oh, that's cool. He's got air brake flaps. This entire scene where they play this game of chicken was so cool. Once again, identical to the scene in Guardians 2 where Baby Groot vomits after he's inside the Milano and they're spinning around. They know what they're doing. Are these New Republic guys just following Din around now? Okay, this doesn't make any sense. When Greef Karga tells this guy, he says, their control droid can't tell anything apart pre-Empire. And he's like, this isn't Coruscant, basically saying that their droids are all too old at this point, that they wouldn't be able to detect anything pre-Empire. Wouldn't it be the opposite? Wouldn't they not be able to tell anything post-Empire because they were made a long time ago and they're still using them? Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? I'll be sure to send you a gram. What does that mean? Is there like telegrams in Star Wars? Uh-oh. He's saying something about there's something going on out here. Is this the origins of the First Order? I hope we're not doing that already. Come on, we got to see more of, like, the chaos of the post-Empire era, because I think in the EU and like a lot of the books it's like decades of fighting between the Imperial Remnant and the New Republic. So don't rush it, guys. I don't want to see you jump immediately to the First Order. Hopefully with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni in charge, they don't do that right away. I totally forgot she was Alderaanian. What is that medal he gives her? Is it a deputy badge? Did he just deputize her as a sheriff for the New Republic? Also, if you listen carefully, you can faintly hear the March of the Resistance song in the background from Episode 7. Oh, now that's definitely an old school motion control model. You can tell for sure that that's what that is. The New Era. Yeah, I don't know. That could be a reference to what's coming with the First Order, or maybe they're just doing a bait and switch here. I don't know. Oh wait, but it can't be the First Order yet, because didn't the First Order like kidnap kids to be troopers? They're still using troopers from the Empire, and maybe they're gonna start cloning them, because that's what this scene might imply. Yeah, dude, what are they making? Like, are these dark troopers from the EU? Like force-sensitive troopers? They're injecting these troopers with Baby Yoda's blood so they have the Force. Maybe they can give them lightsabers like that old Ralph McQuarrie art of the stormtrooper with the lightsaber. Oh man, we gotta wait till next week. I don't know what's... Actually, we probably might have to wait longer than that, because next week's probably going to be all Ahsoka, and then we probably won't pick up this plot thread. Maybe they're going to make us wait a while, like to the end of the season for this. Just please, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, don't already go into the sequel trilogy. Just go do something else in the show, please, because I think you might lose some of the audience if you try to directly tie into the sequel trilogy, because people like the fact that this is so separate from those movies. Oh, nice. Directed by Carl Weathers. It's nice to see him working after all these decades and not just acting. He's like directing now, and so he's involved with like every aspect of Star Wars. Well, that's basically it for this episode. We got only 4 left. Sad. Hopefully the pandemic doesn't affect the filming and the production of season 3, because I want it as soon as possible. So if you liked my breakdown of this episode and my ongoing coverage of The Mandalorian, consider subscribing, leaving a like, commenting. I'll be here next week after Thanksgiving weekend to cover tomorrow's episode. I think this is the latest I've actually done a review for an episode, but I was doing other stuff. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.